I'd like to introduce you to a few of the important course concepts for week one. So, first of all, I have a podcast and a little introduction video for you about the growth mindset. So, as I mentioned in my intro video, embracing the idea that all of us can improve as writers regardless of where we are coming in both our attitudes and our abilities, is going to be really important for success in this course. So the video and the podcast slash article, and you can choose to listen or read, or listen while you read, whatever works best for you. When you click that link, you'll see there's an audio and then the text of it as well, and you can choose. Mentions the growth mindset and a fixed mindset. So here's just a little preview of those concepts, and then there's a quick video posted too that previews them for you. It's a really helpful video. So we want to think about whether we see writing from a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And it's not like it's bad or good, because we all have growth mindsets about some things and fixed mindsets about other things. For example, I've always seen myself as just not good at math. In reality, I know I could get better with practice, with a good teacher, with a little bit of fortitude, right? But I just see myself as, I've had negative experiences learning math in the past, and those have given me the fixed mindset, right? So it's not a character flaw to have a fixed mindset, but it is something that I could grow through if I set my mind to it, right? So, here are just some phrases that we might associate with a growth and a fixed mindset. And I want you to consider, where are you when it comes to writing? Do you see feedback as constructive, or do you see feedback and criticism as personal? Do they seem harmful to you? Sorry if you can hear my child in the background. When you're thinking of yourself as a writer, do you like to try new things? Do you like to take risks and try creative new things? Or do you sort of play it safe because you're a little bit scared to fail at it, right? So you can think about that as you are approaching some of the materials for this first week of the class. The other key concept for the first week is the idea of transitions. Our textbook is called Transitions. We picked that name because coming into composition, it's one of the first gen ed classes that students take. Sometimes it's students' very first class in their college career, right? That 8 a.m. class. Of course, for online, it doesn't really matter, right, when they occur. But Dr. Rebecca Miner, who is our chair of composition, wrote the introduction. She's really talking to you here, and talking to you about how we see this experience of coming into composition, coming into these gen ed courses, coming into the college and the academic world. And Dr. Miner says for us, transitions highlight the pivotal moments of change throughout our lives, and it's important to think of these transitions as vehicles for growth and development. So, I just want you to be a little reflective. How do you see this transition? And then we'll be thinking about the transition to college writing and what that means. And so there's a little bit of coursework this first week of thinking, what does it mean to transition to academic writing? And what are some of the differences between academic writing? Writing is something that changes depending on the context it's in. If you're sending a text to a friend versus sending a text to, your boss or someone you're interviewing with, it's going to be different depending on the context, right? So what makes this context different? What are the expectations here? Demystifying some of those differences in expectations is really important. And sometimes I think at college we don't do that enough. Like, what makes this a different space? What makes this academic world a different context? So one of the resources for this week talks about the difference between high school writing and university writing. Now, if you're a non-traditional student, which I know many of you are, you may have had high school several years ago, or maybe just a few years ago. So you may not be transitioning in exactly that same way. So I want you to think, what about the types of writings that you've done in your career so far, or in high school, depending on where you are, right, in your own journey. What are those types of writing, and how was writing seen there? Was it very formulaic? Did they say, write this, and this in this order, based on a ready-made templated structure? Did it encourage repetition? Did it say things have to be extremely concise in this field, right? With these rules about concision and word limits, versus the type of writing that we do at the university in academic contexts. Context changes class to class too, so this is even going to vary depending on the field that the class belongs to. So 2 key things we're going to be thinking about this week. Number 1, embracing a growth mindset towards writing and recognizing that we are writers who can improve. That's one key philosophy that's going to be important to our success. And then thinking about how university and academic writing varies from the other types of writing that we may have done. And hopefully these 2 things will set us up for success in the rest of the course. So I'm looking forward to seeing on the discussion boards what your key takeaways are from these readings. Thanks, writers.